Hi everyone, it is Beth with Flying by the Seat of My Plants, and today I am starting my peppers. The ones I want to start right now are the hot peppers, and hot peppers can take a little longer to germinate. So, and right now it's March 7th, and so I went ahead and went through my seeds and picked out the ones that have some heat to it, because it's really important to get these in. So germination on most of these are 10 to 14 days. So I've always had really good luck though with my peppers. I'm going to show you the grow light that I do put these under, because the grow light, it's in my laundry room. It's under the cabinets, and it does give off some heat, and which is good. Peppers, to germinate, they like it to be warm. So I went ahead and prepared a bunch of the trays that I'll be planting them in. And with my peppers, I use a larger cell. I'll show you. Well, maybe I'll show you compared to a smaller one. So I have a smaller one here, and here's a larger one. And this way I won't have to up-pot them quite so quickly. So they could probably stay in here in these cells for a good month and a half before I have to up-pot them. And so right now I kind of ran out of these. So I did order some more. So what I am putting, I have 2 trays, which will give me 36 plants. And in each one that's big like this, I could put 2 seeds, but I'm leaning on just doing the one because germination has always been good. If it doesn't germinate within 7 days, I could put another seed in there. So, because I kind of rather do that than put the 2 seeds and then having to up-pot a lot sooner. And the only reason why I don't want to up-pot so soon is because I have a lot of plants that I will be starting. So, but right now it's time to start the hot peppers. If you guys are starting hot peppers, and just different groups that I follow. I also have my own group, Flying by the Seat of My Plants, and anybody's welcome to join. It's a private group, so when you ask to join, I do go on there and make sure you're a real person, to protect everybody in the group. But anyhow, I did have to order more of these. So right now my focus today is to get the hot peppers in. And then I also want to start some of my herbs. I feel like I'm behind the 8 ball on some of that, because stevia, they say it could take up to 30 days. I've never had that happen to me. Stevia, typically, within 7 to 10 days, it germinates for me. So hopefully it's the same. I did order stevia seeds from Johnny's, which I did last year, and Johnny's, it was great germination and very quick. And I also ordered stevia seeds from Eden Brothers. The first ones I am going to plant, though, are from Johnny's, because I've had good luck with Johnny's. The other herb I'll be planting is thyme. And a lot of these are for my plant sale that I do, and that's in May. So here's some more thyme from M.I. Gardener. I'm going to start some sage. I do have a large sage in my yard now. That comes back every year. Here's some sweet marjoram that I'll start. And here's some oregano. I'm going to start some of that. And rosemary. Love rosemary. One of my favorites. And so that I want to get going today, those herbs. I also want to get going some celery. Last year I did a purple celery. Just for the fun of it, I just wanted to try it. It was good. I still have some chopped up of that celery in my freezer from my garden last year, which you can add it to soups and stews or roasts and anything like that. But this year I want to try the Utah Tall celery, and it's a green celery. The purple is more tough, if that's the right word for it. So anyhow, that's why I want to try this year. So I'll be starting that. The other thing that I love starting is the paprika. Last year I grew this paprika, and I go ahead and at the end of the season, once they turn red, I dehydrate them and then I powder them up. And here is some paprika from last year. So I do that. And this year I bought a different one, Paprika New Mix. It's a sweet and very mild paprika. So this paprika that I grew last year did have a little bit of heat in it, but it's delicious, not too hot. So those I want to get started. Sweet peppers do not take as long to germinate, so I did order more of these larger containers, so I hope to have them in a couple days, and that's when I'll do my sweet peppers. But right now, the main focus is hot peppers. And so the ones I'll be starting today is the orange spice jalapeno. And these, you have to let them go until they fully ripen and change color. They were very prolific. I love growing the different colors of the jalapenos because I like doing the cowboy candy, and I give that away to people, and it just makes it really colorful. But it is hot. The cowboy candy I made from last year's garden, all that, but I left all the seed in there. If you remove the seeds for your cowboy candy, it'll be a little bit milder. But anyhow, so that was the orange spice. And I'm also going to put these in my plant sale. Not a lot, because last year I don't know if just it wasn't enough information for them to, the colors just, I guess, didn't turn a lot of people on. But here is a lemon spice jalapeno and the pumpkin spice jalapeno. So I'm starting those today. This is a new one I've never tried before. If you guys have tried it, leave it in the comments. It's Ancho Grande pepper. And that, it start indoors 8 to 10 weeks before the last frost. And I also count in, so let's say 11 weeks, because it does take 7 to 10 days to germinate. So I do add that extra on there. But either way, right now, I'm in Northeast Ohio. Our last frost day is April 27th. But we do a lot of our planting for the frost tender after Mother's Day. Depending on the 10-day forecast in our area, you know, a lot just wait until Memorial Day. So thankfully, we still have plenty of time to get your seeds in. So, you know, if you want to try planting seeds for the first time, I'm going to show you how I do it. And, you know, peppers might take a while. They do like heat, so some people do use heat mats. I have never used them, and I've never had a problem with germination, but I do put them under the grow light that does give off some heat. So I'll take you back there in a little bit and show you what grow light I'm talking about. So the next one is, for the first year, I'm going to try the Jimmy Nardello pepper. I've never tried that. It says a highly prized grilling pepper used in Italian cooking. So it traced back to the early 1900s. The Jimmy Nardello plants produce many deep red, medium mild peppers. So that'll be fun. Here's another one I never grew before. It's called the Sugar Rush Peach. And I've seen other people that grew them. You know, it sounds like it's a wonderful one. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. Okay, it says it's an exciting new heirloom bred by hot pepper prodigy Chris Fowler of Wells. Long peach-colored fruits are packed with loads of super sweet tropical flavor, and the seeds bring a smoky, complex heat. So this one, they say, start indoors 8 to 12 weeks before the last frost date. Heat mat helps to warm soil and speed germination. Peppers often appreciate a bit of afternoon shade during the hot summer weather. But that's after you plant it out in your garden. So anyhow, I'm going to start these. They look like a lot of fun, and it sounds like a very tasty tomato. Another one that I love to grow in my garden, it's one of my favorites, is the Craig's Grande jalapeno. And I like them because I like making the stuffed jalapeno. And these are like a jumbo jalapeno. But you can use them in anything. So a lot of people in the plant sale last year, you know, I tried to explain to them, it's still a jalapeno. It's just a larger jalapeno. And so anyhow, I am going to start some for my garden and for the plant sale. The other one, there's two different types of Hungarian wax peppers that I will be starting. This one I got from Seeds for Generations. I've never ordered from them, so hopefully they are good. It's 25 seeds in here. But there is a guy in our Facebook group, Flying by the Seed of My Plants, that, you know, he suggested these. Abby, he suggested these seeds. And, but these are, they can get heat in them, but they are called a pepper sweet Hungarian yellow wax, but they're more of a chunky. And on here it says yummy sweet pepper commonly used for pickling, grilling, stuffing. Used as substitute for banana pepper. Starts like green, turns yellow, then orange red. And this one doesn't really say. Now this one, you know, it says sweet, but now I have another one that was a sweet yellow pepper, Hungarian wax, that it can have some heat in it. This is a Hungarian yellow wax, so this one does have heat in it. So I'm going to plant some of these. Excuse me. And then, of course, the regular jalapeno. So those are the seeds I'm going to start tonight. And I have everything all set up. I'll show you everything. And the sweet peppers, I'm starting later after I get my order for more of these. And I just like I said, I like the bigger ones. You could do 2 seeds in one if you want to. But I am going to go ahead and I'm just going to do 1 seed in each one. If it does not germinate, I can always put another seed in there. So anyhow, I'm going to do I'm going to do 1 seed. I don't know. I might change my mind. I might do 2. Anyhow. And then I have to separate them probably sooner. I just wish I had more of these because I keep going back and forth in my head. But anyhow, that's normal. I'm going to get the hot peppers going. And then I have 2 more trays that are smaller, and that's what I'm going to start my herbs in. And I can always up-pot those. And the celery, I'll be starting. Stevia is very important to try and get that going. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to get going, I haven't done it yet, is my lavender. So hopefully I can put some of these seeds in some of these smaller cells. Okay, so what I used was, I'm just using a potting soil to start. You don't have to use a seed starting mix. Faithfully, that's all I ever used when I first starting my own seeds. And there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just really expensive and you only get a small bag. So most of my starts, I just buy a large bag of potting soil. The only thing I found recently in the past few years is there's usually a lot of large sticks in there. So, you know, I'm thinking of investing in one of those sifters just to get the soil and not all the sticks. But the one that I was using was this year was the Espema organic potting soil. And because there was a lot of organic matter in there, there's living things in that soil. So I just noticed a lot of gnats right away. So I thought, you know what? I don't want to do that with the peppers. And because right now the potting soil I used was for the lettuce. That's all out in my greenhouse now. So, you know, if there's gnats out there, which I haven't seen any, it's just warmer in here. So I just want to keep that at bay. So I went ahead, and we have Maria Gardens in our area, and they have a large bag of potting mix, which I have used that before, but it also has some sticks in it. So, I mean, I've gone through and just pick a lot of sticks out for when I started my onions, when I started my lettuce, and it worked out. Everything's great. Growing, not a problem. The only thing that I had the problem with was getting the gnats. So I went back up to Maria Gardens, and this one that I got it was in a smaller bag, but the ingredients in here are just the 85% peat moss and 15% perlite. So, and it's 8 quarts, and it was $6.99 for 8 quarts, where like if you do the Jiffy starting mix, seed starting mix, it's usually like 6 quarts for $7.99. And one of these quarts filled up one tray, one of these 8 quart bags. So there's no sticks in here. It's a nice fluffy potting soil, and it's a potting soil. So anyhow, okay, so I went ahead and filled up these cells. And the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take it over to the sink and pre-moisten everything. It's easier if you pre-moisten your soil, potting mix, before you put the seeds in, because you don't want to water it afterwards. You put the seed in there and then you water it, and sometimes the soil comes up a little, especially if you're using a seed starting mix, because it's so fluffy, and it can move your seeds into the next cell, or you know, if you're putting them in the middle and then you water after you put the seed in there, it could float to the side. So my highest suggestion when you're starting seeds is to pre-moisten your soil. And then after you pre-moisten, and I've even done it before, is I always make sure once I fill them, I'm pressing down on each one. Because once you add water, it could sink down even more. So if you just fill it up and you don't even press it down, it's going to sink about halfway down. So it's really important, you know, when you're filling these with the soil, that you press down and put more soil if needed. And then I'll pre-moisten, and I should be fine as far as the level of the soil now, because I did push down on them and add more soil. So I'm going to pre-moisten this real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to press down. These are all, I just watered everything, so I pre-moistened everything. And I'm pressing it down because I'm going to add more soil if it's too low. Because you don't want to add your seed and then you water it and you find out, you know, you need more soil in there. And starting seed isn't by your zone. I just want to clarify that. You go by your last frost date, and then you count back. So here in Northeast Ohio, our predicted last frost date is April 27th, but there's a lot of times afterwards. So to be safe, we wait until like after Mother's Day, May 15th, or whatever day it is, up until Memorial Day before we plant, because these are frost tender. So if you plant a lot in your garden And then you have a predicted frost coming, and you got to go out there and cover every one of them. And peppers, typically you don't want them to plant outside into your garden until, or a pot or raised bed or whatever, until the night temperatures are pretty regular above 50 degrees, because it could slow their growth. Okay, so I'm going to top these off. Some did go down a little. And then I'll water it one more time. And then we'll get the peppers in. And it's finally time to plant, and that makes me happy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and water this one more time, just to get the top layer that I just added wet. Okay, so that's done. Now, I'm just going to use like a Sharpie pen, and I'm going to make a hole. And I'm not going to go real deep because for the pepper seeds, you do want to cover them with soil, but you don't want to go so deep that they, when they germinate, they are trying to reach the surface, but they're so deep they can't. So I'm going to say, if you look at the tip of this black area right here, that's about how deep I'm going on the Sharpie. And I guess like 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 inch. These two are drying. I'll be right back. Okay, so let's see if I can move it back a little. All right, so another thing I did is got my tags ready. So the first thing I'm going to do is the pumpkin spice, and I'm going to do 6 cells. So this has the one tag in there, and then I'm going to do the orange spice, and then 6 of the lemon spice. And yeah, I think that's going to be enough. Because for some reason they were not a big seller last year. And in my own personal garden, I'll probably put 2 of each. And last year I did a lot more because I didn't sell them all, so I actually planted them in my garden. And I got a lot of jalapenos. Okay, this is the pumpkin spice. And I have the tag in there, so I'm just going to drop 1 in the middle. And that's it. I'm just going to do 6 of them. And then watch this year that I'm going to have a couple out there and everybody's going to go, oh, I want some. Anyhow, I'll have 2 in my own personal garden. So, all right, so I got the 6 seeds in there. I'm just going to push down a little bit and cover it. the seed. And I'm not going too deep. And again, if there is no germination, I can always add more seed. So that's the pumpkin. The next is the orange spice. All right, so these are the orange spice jalapeno. And I'm just going to repeat with one seed. And I mean, you could do two. I feel pretty good about the germination on these, so I'm doing one. And if it does not germinate, I can always add another seed. And that's the orange spice. And I got these seeds from Baker Creek. And then I'm just going to cover it up with the soil. You know, if I have to push down a little bit, that's okay. And then just bring the soil over it. And the biggest thing about starting seed, you know, is the soil that you use. You don't want to use like a raised bed soil or anything like that. You want to use, I mean, I use potting soil. But like I said, sometimes that has a lot of sticks in there, so you want to try and remove as many as you can. Or like this, I got at Maria Gardens, and they already sifted out any sticks, so I didn't have to worry about that. And the other thing is making sure you have your markers, because trust me, when they come up and you don't have them marked, you will not know one pepper from the other one, because they all look the same. And I'm going to put a list out in my group, you know, if people there want to get any plants from me from the plant sale. I'm going to add another one in this one. That seed almost didn't look whole, so. There it is. And I've always had good germination with M.I. Gardner or Baker's Creek and Johnny's. So, but anyhow, on Facebook, I'm going to put out there what I'm starting. And if people say, hey, you know, I think I do want to get a couple of the lemon spice jalapeno or whatever, I can always start more, because I'm going to put that list out like probably this weekend of what I started with my seeds. Okay. Okay, camera went down again. It overheats sometime. But anyhow, here is the Jimmy Nardello. And I have marker in there, and I'm going to do 6 of these. I've never tried these before, so it just looked like a lot of fun and a tasty pepper. And like I said, you know, I'm going to put a list out there, and if I have more requests to start more, I will. So I'm putting 1 seed in each one. And the Jimmy Nardello I got from M.I. Gardner. Okay, so I got the seeds in there, and I am just going to go ahead and cover the seeds up now for the Jimmy Nardello. So the soil is pre-moistened, and I made a little divot with the Sharpie pen, you know, or you can use your finger, and then drop a seed in there. And again, you know, if you want to start 2 in one, you can, and you could separate them, and you could just like put one in off-center to the corner and then do another one over here, so you could put 2 seeds in there, but don't drop them in the same hole. You know, if you're planning on separate them later, you could do that then. But if you put 2 in the same hole, you know, you're going to have a hard time separating them when they start growing. So you want to put a little distance, and if you have a larger cell. And I like using this size one when I start my peppers because they could stay in there a little bit longer, because I'll be starting a lot of seeds. So the next one I want to start is the Sugar Rush peach pepper. This one, long peach colored fruits are packed with loads of super sweet tropical flavor, and the seeds bring a smoky complex heat. That just sounds delicious to me. So I'm going to put 1 seed in each hole. And you know, when I get my other cells, I might actually talk myself into just starting more. I don't know. But let me just say that if you start your own seeds, you know, number one, it's not that difficult. You just got to make sure you water and do stuff like that. You got to make sure you mark them. But it's a lot cheaper than buying the plants, especially with today's prices. I mean, last year at the greenhouses, they were selling tomatoes, even at Lowe's and stuff like that, tomatoes and peppers for $5 each. Now, with my plant sale, I think I started at, no, I did start at $3. And I thought that was a great price. Because, you know, if you're doing a plant sale and you're selling the stuff, you are investing money in the trays that you need, the cells that you have to start them in, and they have somewhere you can reuse them every year. These pretty much fall apart by the time they're done for me. But anyhow, you are investing money, so you got to take that into consideration. But I usually charge around $3 if I have a lot left over and it's towards the end. Last year I did a couple weeks of the plant sale, and by the very last day, I mean, it was $2 a plant or whatever, but $3 is not a bad price. And I don't know if I'm getting a whole lot back, to be honest with you. Okay, so the next one is the Ancho Grande. And that's the one, Ancho Grande Poblano. Oh, yeah. Produces large, deep green peppers that have a bold, smoky, spicy flavor. To decrease the heat content, be sure to exclude the seeds from your dishes. Great for making authentic Mexican dishes. Stuff them with quinoa veggies for a perfectly balanced appetizer or meal. So I'm excited about these. And that's the other thing, when you start your own seeds, you know, when you go in a greenhouse, they don't always have a big variety. So if you want to try different things out, you can invest in buying seed packets, and then whatever seed you don't use for the year that you're planting or starting seed, you store them. If you store them properly in a cool, dark place, your seeds will last for years. So those are all the advantages of starting your own seed. And the biggest thing is, you know, you got to make sure you water them. You got to make sure that you don't over fertilize them. The seed itself, when they start, is the fertilizer in the very beginning. Once they get their true leaves, that's when you can start adding a very mild fertilizer. And the true leaves are the second set of leaves. So, all right, I got this one done. And when I say a mild fertilizer, I use this. It is a fish fertilizer. They also have a seaweed one, which is also very good. And here it's at 1 tablespoon per gallon of water. Feed every week. Water lightly so that diluted fertilizer does not remain in the drip dish. So the roots are very tender when they're just little seedlings, so you do not want to over fertilize. And I say it almost every time, but do not use Miracle-Gro on your seedlings. You'll kill them. It's too strong. So use something mild. Just follow the directions, of how much to use. And once they get really established, and so this is the first step of starting the seed, what I'm doing right now. Now, in probably a month, maybe a month and a half, I will be up-potting these into a bigger container. They still will not be ready to go outside. The weather will still be too cold around here. I'm going to go ahead and grab the bigger pot. And that's when I use from M.I. Gardener, I use the Trifecta Plus fertilizer. And that's when I add that. So that's like another month and a half. But in the meantime, I will water the young seedlings before I up-pot them with this, mixed with water. And okay, so after about a month, I'm going to go to this size. And, that's where I'll put some soil in the bottom. And then I'll take after it has its true leaves, and it's probably going to be at least a month before I up-pot these. So it's March 6th, so it'll probably be around April 6th that they will go into this larger pot, because they still will not be ready to go outside, so you'll need a larger pot. So typically I'll fill so much in the bottom with soil, potting mix, and then I add the Trifecta Plus, probably about a teaspoon, and then kind of mix it in there, and then I add a little more soil, and then put the transplant into this pot. And that, because it's long and it's deep, that gives the roots room to grow and to make it up to the plant sale or when it's ready for me to plant outside. So that's important. And I don't want to start them in here. Number one, I think it's harder to water them in a bigger pot. They're just tiny little seedlings, so that's why I want to start them in a smaller cell and then up-pot them later. And I'm going to let Abby out. 1 second. And for anybody that is starting a garden for the very first time, and if you don't have all the equipment to start your seed, buying plants is always an option. But the biggest advantage to starting your own is it's an investment to get some of this stuff. But if you buy really good stuff that you can use years and years and years and years, these aren't the ones that I got, but there are some that you can, like Bootstrap has some good things that you could buy that you can use over and over and over for years to come, which I think I'm going to start investing in that. But anyhow, this is what I have for now. So these are going to go under the grow lights, and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's the regular jalapenos. And then Craig's Grande. I love the Craig's Grande. It's a regular jalapeno, but it's extra big. It's a king size jalapeno. And if you like to stuff them, I stuffed mine with cream cheese and cheddar cheese, and wrap it with bacon, which is super delicious. And you serve it I've had it at a party, and it disappears as soon as it hits the table, and you tell them it's out. People are up there grabbing them, and they're gone within 10 minutes. So if you look up recipes that you like, and don't be just disappointed if if it's your first year, even second year or whatever. Everybody has failures in the garden. And you know what? If like last year I planted Kajari melons, I didn't get any. But you know what? I'm doing it again this year. So my philosophy is you don't give up. You just, try and try again until you get it. Same thing with starting seeds. And okay, that's the Craig's Grande. And now I'm just going to go back and fill everything in. And my battery is about to die, so I'm going to go ahead and switch that. Okay, so here is the grow light that I have back in my laundry room. It's underneath a cabinet. And this is the first grow light I bought. So I've had this, I don't know, it's either 6 or 7 years now. And I bought this, I believe, off of Amazon. But the name brand is AgroBrite. It's AgroBrite. And it has 4 fluorescent tubes underneath. And this year, I went ahead and replaced all the lights because it was losing its power. So it was going for like 5 or 6 years. And last year I did notice a decline in how fast things were germinating. So I did order 4 more lights, replaced them. So we're back up and running with the full fluorescent lights. But so I moved everything back here, and I can always raise these up closer to the light. You know, a lot of times I'll take different trays, flip it upside down, and put them on top so it raises them up. Or I could stack books or whatever. Right now, I just have them like this, but I probably will be raising them up. Just so they're closer to light and they're not stretching. Because you don't want your young seedlings to have to reach for light, because that just makes a really weak stem. So, and I will be bottom watering, meaning I'll be adding water to the bottom of the trays, but right now everything's pre-moistened, so I'm not going to water right now, but I probably will tomorrow add water. And you can also use a mister, you know, just a bottle, spray bottle, and fill it up with water and mist the top, you know, because those seeds, you don't want them to totally dry out. But you want to keep them moist but not overly wet. So. Okay, so the battery keeps dying on me. Anyhow, I am in the process of charging the batteries, and just want to finish up this video. So this is kind of like part 1 video of part 2 coming up. The next one I'll be doing is the lavender and the different herbs and the sweet peppers. The other peppers I still have to get in, besides the sweet peppers, is the paprikas and the celery. That'll be on the next one, all the herbs. And so I hope this video helped as far as starting peppers. And again, I just want to say it's not so much the zone that you're in for starting seeds. It's you have to go by your last frost date and then count back to where, you know, you'll be starting your planting your garden. So that's just really important to keep in mind. So I'll be giving updates on what I did plant, and I'll probably be checking on them every single day until they start sprouting, and then, you know, I'll go ahead and update you on how they're doing. And those are mainly the hot peppers I got started. And in the Facebook group, I'm going to go ahead and start uploading a list of what I will be planting, because a lot of people in that group do order or do come to my plant sale. And so this way, if there's more seeds people want me to start, that's what I'll do. And that's about it. So thank you so much for joining me. And again, like I said, this is part 1 of 2 on starting the peppers. And once I get all that going, it'll be a peace of mind, because I really need to get this stuff done. And the next, after part 2, with the peppers, I will be starting the tomatoes probably in a couple weeks. And they grow very fast, so I'm not in a big hurry for the tomatoes. And I feel pretty good about the time I started my peppers because I don't want them to get too big. Last year I started them too early, and I was dealing with uppotting to that bigger thing like this. And then before it was time for the plant sale and for me to get them in the garden, I had to uppot them into a larger pot. So I feel with the time I'm starting them now, which is I think March 7th, I feel pretty good that this container will be good until my plant sale and until I get them in my personal garden. So, all right guys, thank you so much for joining me. And I'll be uploading another one after this shortly. So hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you all on the next one. All right, bye.